All right, welcome everyone. This is a Viper Professional Training and Sport webinar. Today's date is March 19th, 2018. The title of tonight's webinar is Make a Couple of Great Trades and Stop Trading. And as everyone knows that's been to our webinars or our live trading room, everything that we say and do at Viper Trading Systems is for educational purposes only. Futures trading, forex trading, any kind of financial instruments trading involves risk. Therefore, there's always risk of loss. You should only trade discretionary capital, and that is money that you can afford to lose. Nothing said in this webinar. Other webinars we might have, our live trading room, or anything else with Viper Trading Systems should never be construed as trading or investment advice. And as always, everyone does trade at their own sole discretion. Any questions on the disclaimer? All right, if not, we'll go ahead and get started. Okay. Now, first off, before we get started, I want to show everybody just real quick, because we got some people here kind of checking us out this week. So you're welcome actually to go to this webinar link on our website and click on it. And these are free webinars for you, okay? And for instance, this is last Monday night right here, or pardon me, last Saturday. This is last Monday night. And I need to get Charles's up there, but I've got to upload his into YouTube. I'll do that first thing in the morning after the room closes. But these are some good webinars that'll walk you through exactly how we call these trades and how we see them. Miranda writes, similar to the disclosure. Yeah, pretty much. Lewis used to be a police officer, right, Lewis? All right. By the way, today is also my little grandbaby's birthday. She turned 4 years old today. So we had a birthday party for her on Saturday. Had about 40 people out here. So it was really a good little birthday party for her. And we also had that same birthday party for our little grandson, Zach. He turned 1. It was technically his birthday party, but it was kind of a dual one. It's pretty cool. All right, let's go ahead and get started. You're not here to learn about my grandbabies and all that, but I'm proud of them. My wife is. All right, now what I'm going to show you here is a little chart that I like to look at, okay? Now, with those 3 dots, anybody got an idea of what the trend is? Because it's actually showing itself. It's up, isn't it? It's absolutely up because you have a low, you have a high, and you have a higher low, right? Now, let's draw that with our lightning 3. See if I can get it drawn. Okay, that's our lightning 3 right there. And let's draw lightning 2 right here. And lo and behold, that's what you're at right now. Okay, that's exactly what you're at right now. I'm going to go ahead and draw lightning 2 from here also because I like to see the swings. There we go. All right, so if you were trading this, let me ask you a question real quick, because the one thing you want to get out of the habit of doing is don't chase a trade. Because, you know, if you're going to chase it, make sure that it stays your direction the entire time. Don't let it go against you. You know, because even, you know, for instance, if you box it in and it goes up out of a box and it pulls right into that box, you got to be careful with that because they can literally go the other direction because they're just little fake out breakouts. Okay, but this is a pretty good thrust, isn't it? So what I do is I start seeing on my chart where is the level that they haven't checked yet. It looks like they've checked that, doesn't it? So let's change that to a little lighter so y'all can see it a little bit better. I'll change it to old lace, that'll work. All right, everybody see that, where it's checked that? Okay, now where hasn't it checked yet? Looking at this right here. It's even checking here, isn't it? See it right there? Okay, so where hasn't it checked yet on this particular chart by looking at this? And this immediately draws my eye right down to there. Okay, and you think, whoa, is that going to come down that far? Well, I draw lines to where it hasn't checked yet. Okay, because that's what you're doing when you look to the left to trade the right. Okay, so we know we're in an uptrend, right? What would it take to take this down instead of up? Let's pretend you don't even see this right here. Let's just take this away. All right, What would it take if you were looking at this and all you saw was this, a low, a high, a higher low? And let's say that you've got a higher high. Let's just put it on here for the fun of it, because we know it did, right? Let's just say it got a higher high. Okay. So since it got a higher high and you wanted to trade this obviously to the long side, but where would it take to actually change the direction of this trend? And several people are getting it already, and they're some of our better traders. Okay. Because if this is going to continue up, it's going to have to pull back into an area of support. Like here, it's already checked. It's already checked. Remember, I even had another little area, but it hadn't checked down here, so we drew that line too. But for this to actually break down, they would really want to break that line right there, just like I showed in the room this morning. Okay, and then we would want to head down. Remember, I showed this, and matter of fact, nailed three really good trades, right? We didn't take them, but I called them out in real time. So couldn't you learn to take these kind of trades? Because this is what we'd be looking for if this was going to head down. Now, if it's going to head up, let's go ahead and draw our little lines again. Okay, if it breaks this area like right here, could you actually short this? And the answer would be yes, wouldn't it? Because you have a high, you have a low, you have a lower high so far, but we don't know this is going to be our lower high yet, unless it rolls over. Okay, let's see if Lightning 1 will even show us that. Because I'm trying to show you without a bunch of things on the chart. Wow, made it all disappear. Let me get it. There we go. Let me get this and see if we can get Lightning 1. No, Lightning 1 is just where this is. So, yeah, there's your Lightning 1 swing right there. Okay, see that right there? Check that little swing right there. So if we were to break this little swing right here, could we actually short this? Now, usually what I like to do is if it breaks it, I want it to break it, come back, give a lower high, and then break it again. Okay, and that would be still a very risky trade. Okay, because you'd be shorting against an actual uptrend. Okay, let's look at the actual chart, because this particular trade I actually took today when I was trading gold, and I'll show you what you're looking at on the actual chart. Okay, notice that our background changed to green, our midband changed to blue. We know we've got a low, a high, a higher low, and a higher high. We know we've got a swing right across here. Remember, I showed you that when we drew it with lightning. I'll change the color of this because obviously white's going to be hard for you to see. Let's go with navy. I like navy the best. Okay, so we got a swing there. We've got a swing here. It's already checked it. And we've got a swing right here. And see, it's already checked it. So thrust retrace already checked it, right? Okay, so, if we wanted to, now keep in mind that we could short this if it takes out this little swing, because that's an identified lightning swing. But it might only take it out by one bar and then pop it right back up, because this is still an uptrend. But you can take that trade if you see an actual lightning swing to the left. Okay, because you have a high, a low, a lower high, and it took out this swing here. And if it takes this one out, it's not only taking out the right, but it's taking out the left. Okay. Matter of fact, let me show you a little strategy that we have, because I told everybody we'd show you the strategy. Okay. Now, Object Trader is actually a NinjaTrader strategy that was written for our company about 3 years ago, and it's been majorly updated over those last 3 years. It does a lot. I'd highly recommend, if you want to learn about it, we've got a little video ebook that will teach you how to use it. But for the time being, what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this to like no more than 5, set it as my default, and then we'll go ahead and choose Object Trader as our trader. Okay. All right. Now, if I wanted to take a chance on this, if this closes this bar, okay, what I would simply do, yeah, that's actually a lower high right there. Absolutely, Lewis. Okay, so if we wanted this trade, we could actually turn on bar close. I wouldn't probably do more than one, and I'd try to maybe get 10 ticks. Let's see if that works. I wasn't up quite at this time yet. I think I started about 6:30. That's when my alarm goes off. I usually get up 15 minutes before it, but it takes me, a few minutes to even get awake. Let's see if we can get that little trade. I'm going to just take one if the bar closes down. Looks like we're going to get it. If that bar closes, one more tick. There it is. Okay, so what I did just now is I actually took a trade based on a lightning swing break. Now this is actually still an uptrend as far as this is concerned here. So this could easily head right back in my face instead. That's why I want to teach you to stay with the trend if at all possible. I'm going to go ahead and protect that right there. Exit on close, by the way. And if you don't know what exit on close is, exit on close simply puts a line where I basically choose my stop, but this is not at your broker. This is at your broker. So the people that are out there trading aren't worried about your stop here, and they don't know about this stop here, because that's a line is all that is, and that's telling this bar, if it closes above that line, to go ahead and fire a market order and get me out of the trade. Okay? It's a pretty good little feature on there. Okay? Now, what I was showing you here, though, is if you do want to go against the trend, even with a green background and everything, to get these little scalps, you certainly can. Okay? But be very careful when you do it, because obviously this is still an uptrend until it's just bouncing off support so far right here, right? But I've got my stop in. Let's see if it works out. I've only got $10 so far. Does that make anybody nervous when they get a trade like that, by the way? Because if this closes down, I would probably even add one, simply because it broke support over here to the left. And if it does fire the next one, I'm going to go simply for like a 10 ticker. Show you how I would do this. And this will keep you, well, just watch your P&L. And then what I would do is simply, remember our lines right there? That's what I'd do with it. Okay, and I'd bring my stop just above that swing where lightning is. Everybody see that? Okay. Now, where I took this trade this morning, when I got up and saw this, I was seeing this retracing like this at the time that I got up. Okay, so what I did is I was looking for a phantom trade. Now, phantom, I tried to explain that in the room this morning. A phantom trade simply means that you go from one extreme, like a downtrend, to an uptrend, and you take the first phantom long. And see, there's a good trade, phantom long to midband. This is a phantom long to midband if it gets our phantom. Okay, we don't have our phantom yet because our phantom's right down here under line 2. Okay, let's speed this up just a little bit. Now, of course, if you only get like $40 on a trade, you're not ready to quit yet, right? Because, it'd take you forever to make any money at all. Okay, now look, see, it looks like we're going to get this trade. There you go. There you go. Okay, now that's like a $180 trade just like that by simply taking the lightning swing to the left, shorting it, and going for the little break. Okay, now let me show you what we already know, that this was our lightning swing. Remember, I showed it right down here. See it right there? And as a rule, they check these swings. And also, this is a phantom trade. So what could a person do on this? You could actually use our little region trade, hit insert, bring it down to the bottom right here. I'd usually bring it up just a little bit, or use touch plus. So we're going to look for a long trade, touch, +2. And if it does happen to break up here first, we'll even take the little breakout. Okay, but what I'm going to do instead is move my box in real time. See resistance right there? Okay, so if this was to pop up instead of coming down to my little swing, like so, then I would want to go ahead and get the trade anyway, because lightning is going to be going back the other way, isn't it? Okay, so let's look at our trade and see if we get something. And what we're going to do here, obviously, this, by the way, is an 80 to 85% probability trade that I'm looking at right here. Turn on my little long enabled. See that little LE up here? That's long enabled. And if that gets within 2 ticks of the bottom of that box right there and then pops upward, it will fire that trade. See, it did. It's within 2 ticks. Okay. If I wanted to even fire like one more, I certainly could just by simply doing something like that. I might have missed that one. I did. Look how perfect that came down. Okay. Now, couldn't I also do this? Here's a little 1, 2, 3 reversal, right? See this right here? I could actually turn this on, and if this actually touches +2 above this box, this is a little box like we draw in the room and everything, and that would add me a third contract if I wanted to. Okay, and you'll see it actually fire touch +2 as soon as it goes out of the top of that box. Okay? So let's see. So I was right. Short. Well, absolutely, Lewis, on your question from up here, if you look at this, this was stair-stepping up until it started stair-stepping down. Okay? Now, this is a risky trade, but it's not risky if you just simply don't let it go against you. That's one of my favorite trades, is just not to let a trade go against me. Because, just to give an example, I think the one trade that I called today that was off, we only gave up 6 ticks. If I remember right, it was literally only like $60. It was a $10 instrument. See how that fires that extra contract right there? Okay. Now, I would look to the left to trade the right, so, you can clearly see that you're still in a downtrend so far, but you bounced right off of Phantom. That's a very high probability trade, by the way. Okay, and now we've still just got 2. Okay, now what I would do if I had this trade right here, always looking to the left to trade the right. You draw your lines. I see resistance right up here, and I see resistance right up here. Okay, now we have the ability with Object Trader, if we want to even take one of our contracts off at this line even, by simply turning on like Sniper. I'll show you how that works. I may not be able to get there quick enough. Let's see if I can. We'll turn on Sniper. Let's just move the region. It's easier. This region's movable. We'll get rid of 1 if it happens to touch below that box, because that's a little support right there. Everybody see that? Okay, just in case. We might not want to hang on to all of these. Okay, because we've still got 2 left. Now, normally what I would do is I would stretch this box, and I would only take 1 off if it happens to take out lightning. See the lightning swing? Thrust, retrace, thrust. That's your little lightning swing right there. Identified, by the way, which means that it actually closed above the previous side, and then it even wicked it on this side. So we're pretty safe on that trade right there, by the way. Okay. But you could take everything off of a trade. For instance, see, that's up like $600. Now, would you call that, make a couple of great trades and then stop? And you certainly could, right? Because all you care about really is making a couple of good trades, putting them under your belt, and then quitting for the day if you happen to be at your goal. Okay. Now, if your goal is like $1,000 instead, then we got 400 to go. Okay. So I'll show you how we'll get there, because I called this exact trade in the room this morning. Anybody that was in there saw it, and we called it and we boxed it in. Okay. Now, this is before we ever open our room. So this was just my little trade that I happened to take on my account before we open the room, because I like to get up and trade a little bit before everybody gets in the room each and every day. Kind of relaxes me for one thing, plus the fact that, well, it's about, a good hour and a half almost before the room opens. So there's some good trades. Okay. Now I could also put my stop just under here instead of taking the box. Okay. But this is exactly how you trade this type of thing. For instance, you know for a fact that this is going to hit its head when it's only hit this once. That's why they're called double tops, because they constantly do it. See this one right here, for instance, hit the top, came down to the mid band, hit the top, came down, hit the top again. That's like a triple or even a quadruple top. So it, basically held. But you can always take all of your contracts off if you can't see blue sky to the left. And what I mean by blue sky to the left is there's nothing in the way. It's just clear. It's stair stepping up and doing a beautiful job. We don't have that right now. We've got resistance. Let's see, we got resistance right there. See that swing right across there? We've got resistance right here at 1312.70. Now you can also simply take like one off if this happens to pop up above here, and then just tighten your stop on your one that's left also, because you can ride what's called lightning as long as it will let you ride it. Okay. Now another thing you can do is get this target out of the way. You can actually bring your region right up here, set it for a short at the top for like one contract, or even both contracts if you want to. Okay, and then stretch your box. It can be live on the chart even while you're trading. Let's speed this up a little bit. Now watch, I just about bet you it hits its head at that double top, because when you're trading, isn't that almost irritating? You'll be trading and you think, wow, this is going to go to the moon. I love it. It's going to just highs for the day, baby. I'm just going for the gusto. And what happens? You hit a double top, it pulls back, and it gives traders an hour later a place to get in. Okay, see how beautiful that is? Now, could I actually, see, I just got rid of one, and now I can actually get rid of my second one if it happens to take out lightning. Or I have another feature on Object Trader. Power meter 1 is green. I can actually turn on power meter 1 as a short, and it'll simply get rid of my long if this happens to go red. So I can ride my gusto that way. Everybody see that? It's a pretty cool way to trade, actually. Now I'd put my stop actually just under here, but I can actually use the power meter as a stop. If I get a high here, a low here, and a lower high, and it rolls it all, then this would be my stop with lightning, because it would be looking for a lower high. So you've got a high, a low, still a lower high so far. See, we double topped, and I can protect a lot of my trade that way. Okay. Now what I'm trying to show you tonight too is, for instance, if you wanted $1,000, we're pretty darn close to it. Okay. So could you be through? Well, absolutely you could. But keep in mind that some of the best trading goes on from about 8 o'clock in the morning Central Time until about 9:15 to 9:30. Okay, that's that hour and a half, that sweet spot that can be some very, very good trades. Okay, just get in the habit though. Don't ride, like 4 contracts. If you hit a double top and this pulls back 10 ticks, that'd be $400 of your money gone. But with one contract, all I'm risking on this last part of this trade is pretty much down to this line, if that turns red. So I'm pretty safe, aren't I? Okay, let's see. Any questions so far? When the midband goes from red to blue, is that also an indicator to go long? From red to blue. Well, like here, you mean? Yeah, but keep in mind that what happens, okay, see, you go from a color that's downward. The stealth was telling you right through here that this was heading up, by the way. That's a pretty good little indicator too, and we've got a trade that's developed for that. Okay. But when this actually went to a green background, that's your thrust. Okay. Your thrust, though, is not where you want to buy that. Now, if you were going to buy this, I would have bought it down here when it busted resistance, and came back and kissed it right in here. That's where I would have bought it. But I wasn't up at 3:50 in the morning. So it had already thrust, but look what it did. It came down and it gave us a phantom trade. Okay. Let's see if we can speed this up. One thing about it, when you get up this early, it is absolutely sometimes fairly slow. If that power meter goes red, we'll be flat. How many of you give up on a good trade, though, when this thing could go to the moon? Okay, but there's your lightning. See, it just went red. So it took me out of the trade. I'm flat. Okay, so let's look to the left to trade the right and see how, are we magic in that room that we actually called this trade? Because we had this trade drawn out before it ever came to fruition, didn't we? So let's look. We have a thrust, retrace, thrust, retrace, thrust, retrace. Okay, so it's basically checked this little swing right through here. See, it bounced off of it. It has not checked this one yet. It has not checked this one yet, like so. And it also has not checked this one yet, right here. Okay? Everybody see that? Looking to the left to trade the right. Now, does this mean that we could actually, if I wanted to, like say, go for like maybe, well, let's just try 5 ticks for the fun of it. If this actually closes down, I'll try to get 50 bucks because that's a lightning swing. See your high, your low, your lower high. If that closes down, I'll try for $50. But my real trade is the one that I drew in the room. Okay? But watch this and see if you can't actually still scalp these things. Because 50 bucks is 50 bucks. Speed this up a little bit. That's slow. If we get a downward bar, we can go ahead and take a short, or, yeah, there it is. I'd put my stop just in case on this. Let's wait for a second. There we go. We'll put it right there. See if we can get 50 bucks without being taken out. Right now we're in the red a little bit, and it looks like we're going to get 50 bucks. See how it's stair-stepping down so far? There's your 50 bucks. Okay? You can do that type of trade, and keep in mind if you could get good enough to do that with, a couple contracts, that's 100 bucks instead. Okay? But we've drawn on our chart, and we know. Let me show you how I know that, because we've got lightning on here. How about that? Lightning swing, high, low, lower high, lower low, took it out, came down and tested this, and we got 50 bucks, $10 a tick. But where are we looking for this trade right now? Well, we haven't had a good mid-band kiss. It double topped. When they break micro, which they did break up here, they go down and check these medium swings. And this is really good support. And this is another about 85% probability trade if you simply don't just jump in it, when it touches mid-band, because it could go like this one did. But let's say that you would have boxed this in over here. Let's just look at this one. Let's say you boxed it like this. You said, okay, I'm boxing for long. It didn't get long. Went down some more, reboxed it. Everybody see that? It didn't get long, right? Rebox it. Well, first it would have been right there, obviously, and then all the way down here. And that's a phantom trade. And then you just simply box in third candle back. And see, that's a down candle, that's an up candle. You box it in just like that. And see, off it went. See how that works? You don't have to just take it at mid-band. You can actually wait for the box, because this was doing lightning dance down until it hit phantom, and then you got a little 1, 2, 3 reversal. Now, if you waited for it to break lightning, it pretty much didn't do it till it took out the mid-band. Okay, because lightning has to have this little look like this. It has to look like a zigzag. let's see. Bear with me a second. Anybody asking a question here real quick? Let me look. Okay, I think I've answered them. Good. All right. So let's go over here. And let's see if we got a little trade setting up. And absolutely what you could actually do is keep boxing this. You know, for instance, this could just bounce here. We don't know. But there's your swing right here. See it? Right there's your lightning swing. So if I was to box this looking for the long, right now I'd pretty much box it like that, and it'd have to break up above that swing with the close of a bar. I'd probably do close on that one because I don't trust it. But if it was to break up, I might get 10 ticks. Okay. But we're going to just keep boxing this until, yeah, you'd box it with a region, obviously. I'm just drawing a box on it for right now. But let's do a region. Yeah, you're right. Region. Thank you, Mindy. Let's do a region. We'll do insert. We'll stretch our region like that. We'll do a couple. And where it hasn't checked yet, high, low, barely higher, high, higher, low, higher, high. Secondary swing. Remember I talked about secondary swing? You cannot take out that swing right there if this is going to head up. Because if they take this swing out, they're going to check this swing. Maybe even give you a higher low and then take it up. But still, if they break micro, they go down and check medium. And medium can even be a secondary swing. This looks like this is like a medium swing to me. Because see, you had a thrust, retrace, thrust, retrace, thrust, retrace, thrust. So that's your primary, that's your secondary swing. Okay, so I would be doing like this, and we did this in the room this morning, by the way. We simply brought a little box down there, turned it on like so, and we let the trade do its thing. And watch what actually happened. This little box was actually drawn in the room in real time, because by looking to the left to trade the right, just like I showed in the room before we closed the room down today, did you see those 3 trades that were called live on the chart? And all 3 of them worked out. That's because we know where to see these swings. See, there's your little trade right there. Okay. And not a bad little trade, right? And there you go. You got a profit target already. Okay. Notice how my long and able goes off. So that's not going to get me in any more contracts. I would simply bring my stop up. I'd probably put my stop just under right through here, simply because that secondary swing should not be taken out. Probably bring it right down there. Everybody see that? And of course, tighten your stop just in case this doesn't go up, because you can still use this lightning. If this happens to go green, I can turn lightning on to get out of the trade. See how that's a beautiful little trade? Now let's watch and see if it's going to do a little lightning. You got support right here that needs to hold if this is going to head up. See a little look to the left to trade the right? So if it takes that out, I'm going to close this trade. Anybody remember this trade? Let's see. So Gary, what is the rule when it goes up or down? How many candles are you waiting? Well, Lewis, on your question, what I like to do personally is just like I drew on the chart earlier. I draw on my charts. If that takes that out, I'm going to kill this trade. You could stick with this, by the way. If you were only in one, you'd put your stop just under here. Okay? Because this could come down and check this and still not take us out. And I would probably put a long if this happens to pop up. And I'll show you where I'd put it. See that swing right over here to the left? That's resistance. So if it breaks it, we could easily get a nice little trade. I'll only do one though. touch +2. See there? Just got in one more. Okay, so Lewis, what you're asking is actually about the swings themselves. Keep in mind that when you're looking at these lightning swings, they're always doing the stair stepping up, or they're getting highs, lows, lower highs, and taking out the swing, right? Because we got a 5-tick trade even against the trend. Okay, but you've always got to look to the left to know if it's time for the trend to change. Okay, because the trend is not changing on this chart with even a 4 range until you take out the secondary swing right across here. Now, if it was, and see even an a priori swing printed right here, see that 13-10-70? So let's say that you walked in your trading room right now and this wasn't happening just right now. I'd be looking at this type of trade right here. Okay, let's see, as a matter of fact, if we can just get something like this. I'm going to call a trade and see if it's going to work. I'm going to kill this and I'm going to show you a trade. So you got a high, you got a higher low. If it pops up and comes back and comes close to kissing this right here, I'll take this trade. Let's see if we can get it. All right, it hadn't kissed it yet, has it? There's your little trade right there. See how it came down really close? Now, I got that within 2 ticks. This may come a little lower because it looks to me like it's going to come right here. But it didn't, so we're good. Everybody see that, how I did that? Just like I showed in the room this morning. Okay? Now, will this continue going up? Well, we'll trade it the exact same way we did the other one. We got one left on. We got a swing right here that's not identified just yet. Let's speed this up a little bit. And that's getting close to identified, isn't it? Let's go ahead and put our stop in, move our target out of the way, and see if we can get, or even turn on lightning to get out. Well, it's already did lightning, see there? So I'd kill that trade, okay? So we're good to go on that. I turned that up a little bit too high. Now, look at this right here. Is this a trade? Called this trade in the room this morning too. Down candle, up candle. If it takes that out right there, could we take that trade? Insert. We could even do touch +3 just in case, you know, so that we make sure that it's going our direction. And could that be another decent trade? Absolutely. This is what we call boxing in at mid-band. And these can be very, very good little trades. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do 10 ticks. See my little targets there? Look to the left to trade the right. You got to swing right across here. See that right there? I bet you it tags it. And I'm going to add one if it does. I'm going to make it touch it if it does. See my swing to the left there that I hadn't checked yet? We'll add one more if it tags it. And if it takes mid-band out, obviously we're going to get out of this trade because this could easily start breaking down too. This is not a downtrend yet though. Okay, because see your high, your low, your higher high. Higher low, not really higher high, just barely took those out. This is your actual identified swing right down here. This is your micro swing right here. So you want to see if we can get one more. Oh, we're going to add, well, we added 2. We're in 4. Now be careful if you get in 4 contracts because 10 ticks is $400. Okay, we'll go ahead and take 1 off. Let's go ahead and take 1 off just so that we don't. That's bouncing off mid-band though. Tell you what we'll do instead. We'll take a target right there if it comes up and kisses my line. That'll be a pretty decent little trade right there, by the way, if it comes up to to that swing. But remember, with 4 contracts, you could be down on this thing to $600 in a heartbeat too. Came right down to my swing. Took it out a little bit. Needs to bounce. Does this scare you when you get in a trade like that? You go, uh-oh, I'm down like 5 ticks. Well, to be truthful, this is kind of worrying me a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tighten the daylights out of this just in case. Exit on close. Look to the left. I've got support here, right at my line. This is wicking it so far. Okay? And it looks like we may be okay, we may not. We'll find out. If it stops us, it stops us. I mean, we've got our lines drawn on our chart, so why not, right? I was trading YM earlier today after the room closed, and man, it had a monster nice drop. But before it dropped, you know, with 4 contracts, it cost a couple of $100 before it finally decided to slam it. Oh, no problem on that, Lewis. That, you know, the whole thing is, when we're teaching in these webinars like this, you're absolutely welcome to ask any questions you want to ask, because no question is off limits. Okay? And that's important to us. By the way, that's a little riskier trade, but let me show you a trade that you'll really like. See that down candle, up candle? And we'll wait for a close. See what I'm doing here? I'm doing more the 1, 2, 3 reversal. If you want to really make sure that you are conservative, then go ahead and box it more like this. See where that swing is right there? That's your lightning swing that will turn that green. Okay? Now, I would usually, when I see it bounce off mid-band like this, I usually do something like this. I watch it. If it predominantly tries to push the ticks up, I'll hit a market order like that. See how it's trying to push it up? Okay, I'd put my stop underneath the swing, like so. And I could still risk 8 times 1 contract, but then I'll go ahead and add if it takes out my little swing. Get my target out of the way, because we're, you know, with 1 contract, you got to go for a gusto. See how cool these tools are that we've actually designed, though? That trade was also called in the room this morning. Okay, anybody remember it? That was at like 9:23 or something like that, if I remember right. Yeah, and the whole thing is, did anybody watch gold after the room closed? I'll tell you what, gold was on fire after the room closed. Now, if you get to where you box in too big, you got to be careful, because you know, if you make too big of a box, you're going to be breaking, you're going to be doing breakout trades. And if you do breakout trades and you've got like an 8-tick stop with like 3 contracts, that's $240 plus the close of a bar if you use Object Trader. Okay, so what I'd recommend doing would be take the tighter trade and then just put a tighter stop on it. You know, for instance, if this would ever close above the swing right here, I'm going to tighten my stop to just under mid-band. That way I'm only risking about 6 ticks. Okay, let's see if it did. We'll speed it up a little bit. Okay, it's above it. It hadn't closed. Hadn't closed. There's resistance right there to the left where my cursor's at. There you go, you closed. Okay, so I'd tighten my stop. Okay, now that would mean we'd still lose 3 ticks if this was to go back against me, so I'd be down on the trade. But you know, see if we can get in. We didn't get in another contract because I forgot to turn that on, didn't I? So what we'll do instead is we'll wait for it to pull back. Let's see if we can get a pullback area. Where has it not checked yet? Hadn't checked there. Hasn't checked there. Nope, has checked there. See it, because that was right there. So let's turn this on and see if we can get a little add-on trade. There you go. See how I look to the left to trade the right with my little swings? Now, I don't draw my swings in the room because I see these in real time. I mean, we develop these little swings so that you can see them if you just draw them on your chart. But keep in mind that if you can see them without drawing them, you're a lot better off. Okay? Now, this whipped around sideways, if I remember right, because I traded this. You know, we called this trade in the room, too. There's support, should bounce. And I would probably have already taken off one, but I didn't because I've got it going like 30 times. Okay, anybody nervous yet? You're in the red. I'm not nervous yet because I've got a low, a high, higher low, and even a little higher high, ratcheting up a little bit, so I'm tickle pink. Okay, that's really the way we teach and trade this, and we've developed these tools so that people can not only see the trades in real time, but they can take the trades. I mean, this literally turned into, I don't know if anybody, this is after 10 o'clock now. Our room was already closed. Anybody remember what gold did? Well, if you're a gusto type trader and you see it breaking up, you know, where you've got a, you know, starting to stair step up, that's when you get these runs. And instead of taking these off, couldn't you just get your target out of the way and see if it'll go ahead and give you green, the blue sky? Remember, we like blue sky. And this is way over here, so this is still getting, you know, if this takes this out right here, we'll have blue sky. And couldn't you just put your stop under each of the lightning swings? Look at that. Where would your lightning swing be? Like so. Did you know we have an app for that, so to speak? I'll show you what we have. See that swing right there? We've got a trail stop that actually mimics that swing. It's called Trail Stop 1. You can hit your space bar and you'll actually be able to see that. See, there's where it is. So I would tag it back just a little bit below my swing, see, like that, and then engage my trail. And the trail will drop right to that little spot right there, and it'll trail it as this thing goes up. And you could always take one off, absolutely. If you see it starting to hesitate, take one off. Doesn't hurt a thing. Okay? Do we ever use trend channels or trend? Absolutely, Chuck, on your question. We've got a little application on here for trend lines that you'll really like. Matter of fact, you know, it's too late now because we've already busted out. But trend line can be used on the chart at any given time. And not only do we use trend lines, but our trend line feature, which is called the wedge, can actually take that trade. Okay? Now, does anybody see another trade on here at all? Anybody? Because I see it already. You know why I see it? And you saw me in the room this morning. This isn't, you know, it's not like I'm trying to go by memory or anything like that. This is absolutely where you can see where they break out and they pull back and kiss. And notice how they busted up above and came right back down and kissed that little swing right across here. And here's another one right here. See how it just kissed it? And can you actually take a trade even on a break? Well, you can. Matter of fact, what you can always do, let's just pretend you weren't even in this. What if you just said, you know what, this is actually pretty good. I'm just going to take a chance on it. I'm going to buy 2, okay? Then don't let it go against you. See what I mean right there? I'm putting a really, really tight stop just in case, because I don't want it to go against me at all. You can take even a thrust trade if you'll just simply make sure it does not go back against you. Okay? Notice how I just took that because it bounced off of my support. And that's fine. That's not a bad little trade. Okay? But see how easily you can make a couple of great trades and stop? Well, we've made more than a couple. Okay? And by the way, my lightning swings can actually also be based on my Lightning 1 also, I can simply do swing strength 1, and we'll do, let's just do offset of about 4 or 3, that's fine. And then we'll re-engage our trail. See, it came up to this swing because that's your identified swing. As soon as it takes this out, this will be your new identified swing, and watch it jump up there. If it does it, I'll speed it up and see if it will. Lightning swing, see there? Jumped right up to the lightning swing. How many of you would like to trade this way, in real time? Because we built the tools that you can do this. Now, I'm not saying you'll learn these tools overnight, because literally this was like a brainchild for 2 years before it ever happened. And I talked to so many programmers out there that's kind of like, wow, yeah, I'll build that for you for like $50,000, and we didn't want to quite spend that much at that time. 3 years ago, we thought that's a lot. So what we do is we actually have these tools built for us and give you some monster nice tools. Now, will you learn everything about this? No. I mean, we've got regions, we've got bar close, we've got lightning trades, we got predictor trades, we've got a ray trade, a sniper trade, a stealth trade, a time trade. Time trade, wonder about that one. There's your 8, let's see, here's your 8 o'clock time. Let me look at it. Let's see what 8 o'clock did today. You were looking for long, so you would have turned off your shorts until it took out the swing. So I would have drawn my channel down in here, but look at that. It broke up, gave you a trade. Came back in, broke out again, gave you another trade on time trader even. But see, we've got these tools that'll keep you making all kinds of money, because you can actually put your stop anywhere you want it. I can put it on line 6 to give an example. Okay. Line 6 is right. Well, matter of fact, it just got it. See, it would have got, that would take me out. This looks like it's going to get us. I would have already killed this trade, by the way, because lightning went red on both of them. And I'll probably go ahead and kill it anyway, because that, well, we'll see. If it comes back toward my line, it's going to get us anyway. Yeah, that's going to get that line. I'm going to tighten it just a little bit like that. Lightning swing, not identified yet, but you can always tighten your trade, because that actually should have been taken out up in here. I was getting ready to do line 6, which we didn't get, but that's okay. We'll go ahead and put our stop here. And see if this will go ahead and head up. If not, it'll take us out, and that's no big deal. Okay. All right. What I want to show you real quick, though, is, let's just kill it. That's going to take us. I can tell just by the way it's doing. I've watched charts too many years not to see that. Okay, let's see. Yeah, Paul, thank you. I hope you do stick around. That'd be great. Okay. Now, what we have built into here, let me get rid of this trail stop here real quick, is some great tools that you'll be able to learn. And we've got an ebook that's got 71 videos with it that will teach you every single trade. When Charles in the room, for instance, says box in, where we boxed in YM, for instance, those are serious trades, and they work out. I said box in gold right here, and did that work out? Yeah. YM, to give an example, earlier, I don't have a YM chart, or I'd show it to you. I just quickly got my gold because I wanted to show everybody exactly where they were called. So let me stop for just a minute. We've got about 6 minutes left. Anybody have any questions on this? Because again, this can be some very, very serious, nice quality trades. You want to see if we can get another one? Look to the left, trade to right. Where's the swing? Well, you got one right here. I don't see any swings before that either, do y'all? Thrust, retrace, thrust. This is your micro swing. Barely took it out, so that's micro swing. This is like a secondary swing right down here, and this is a swing that's on top, okay? And it hadn't checked it yet. Notice how it just kind of popped up above it. So let's see if we can get a trade. And I'll take one strictly. I'm going to do 3 contracts, but I'm only going to do 10 ticks. But it's going to have to come down to my phantom if we're going to get it. Or it's going to have to come up here and take this swing out. Okay? So let's see which one we get. I'm going to speed it up. Hopefully I can get this. It's not taking out the swing to the top. Not taking out the swing to the top yet. Now you could have taken this right down here. I think I would have for a quick trade, but it was too fast for me. But let's see if we can get it even lower. Thrust, retrace, thrust. So you've had an ABC. Let's see if we can get it. I may not have. No, I don't have enough data. I ran out of data. Anybody tell me if that came down there and tested phantom on your charts? Does anybody? Can you tell me if it came down here? And tell me how close I was if it did. I'm at 13, 15, 90 on my swing. I've got another swing right here that would be a higher low that would be down into phantom. I'll bet you they checked that one right there. Nobody's got charts up. 13, let's see, 13, 10, 50. Did it check phantom first though? Because if you look at this, this has not had a phantom trade except this first one, and it ratcheted up. So you'd be looking for this trade. Anybody got their charts up? Checking now. I'll let you check, Jonathan, because I'll bet you it came down there just because I see that predictor down there. Just hit 1540. Okay, so it hit 1540, which was right in between here. So that was actually a phantom trade, wasn't it? Right in that area, right down there. And how would you take that trade? Well, this time of night you wouldn't, but you know, if it did the little lightning dance, couldn't you? You know, for instance, like let's say this retraced right here. You're seeing the high, the low, the lower high, the lower low. Then you see a high, a higher low, and you don't know it's a higher low until it takes out that swing. So couldn't you box it in exactly like this? And absolutely the answer is yes, right? What you would do is you would simply box it like this. Can't draw worth a flip, but anyway. So if you boxed it like this and it broke down, you'd short it, right? But if it breaks up, you go long. But look how that did. It thrust up and it pulled right back into the top of that. And that's what they do all the time. And that's why you can see these trades like this. See this one here? Thrusts up above, comes back and kisses. Okay? Thrusts up above here, comes back and kisses. They do it all the time. You'll find that if you can learn to take these mid-band trades and these phantom trades, those are two really, really powerful trades. Came down to, what, 1610, Paul says? Earlier in the evening, 1610 on gold. I'd have to look at that. I would say if I was going to be taking this trade long, I would have bought it above midband, scalped it, bought it above midband, scalped it, bought it at midband and scalped it. You could do that even, okay? Because if you don't see blue sky to the left, what are you doing? You're looking at resistance levels and you're looking at support levels, okay? Oh, at 1306 it came down there? Yeah, I don't have a chart to see it. And I only downloaded this much information through about 1:45 in the afternoon. So if it came down, I'll check my charts later, but predictor's saying it's coming down here. Like so. Came down and tagged 1540, Jim says. So it tagged a phantom then, didn't it? Yep, right there in my box. Cool. Yeah, you can draw on your charts and you'll see where the next trade is if you just watch our predictors, watch the mid band, stay on the right side of the trade. Make sure that when you check your charts and everything, that when you do get these like these little thrusts up, retraces, you box in and things like that, just make sure that you're actually breaking. And look at that monster trade that it actually did. And where could you have taken this trade out? Well, I mentioned that I was going too fast, but I would have probably taken out when Lightning actually did a high, a low, same high, and then took it out. And for sure would have taken it out by here, if even, and well, actually over here, see your high, your low, your higher high. You could have taken it out right here, like so. See when it took that swing out right there on that bar? You could have taken it out right there too. Yeah, we're in Central Time here in OK. Everybody get something out of this webinar? I wanted everybody to see that you can make a couple of great trades and stop. If you were in the room this morning, you absolutely heard these trade calls, because the boxes were drawn on the chart in real time before the trade ever triggered. And there's nothing better than using something like Object Trader to get in these trades. Because how many times have you bracketed something in, and let's say, for instance, you took this little trade, you didn't have our tools or anything, and you didn't know where it was going to exactly bounce. And what if you got in when it took this out, or you just hit the button or something, it comes all the way back against you? But isn't boxing it great? See this box here? Comes out of it, test, didn't take you out of your, and look at that thing go. I mean, that trade right there was a good 60 ticks or better. And from where I called it early in the morning, which was right down here, you actually got more than 60 ticks, because we called that trade right in this 11, 30, 40 area, and it went all the way up to 1960. And when did it start stair stepping back down? When it took this out, and for sure when it took this out. Okay? Learn to watch Lightning on your charts, and you won't go back to time charts. Believe me. You'll stick around with these type of charts. And in the morning, we're going to call some more great trades. Okay? And you should be able to stay nicely green. All right. Thanks everyone for coming. Hope you enjoyed it. I will get this posted for members right away, and I'll go ahead and post it on the free webinar link. I'll try to even have that done tonight. Okay. We're all about educating and getting people to see the trades in real time. If somebody's ever come to our room and, given us like a bad rep or something like that, that's because they don't know what the heck we're talking about. We trade a different way because we've designed a different system. When we say box it in, it's not saying get in at 13, 17, 20 and put a 20 tick stop. We're boxing it in. We're waiting for that to break that little box. And if somebody hasn't seen that before, they could go, well, these guys, I don't know, and who cares? We want to get you to where you can see the trades in real time. And I know for a fact in the room this morning, you heard some great trade calls that I remember. There was only 3 that didn't work, and they were very tight. Okay. Thanks everybody. We'll see you in the morning. Bye now. You're welcome. Have a good evening.